recorded live from the radio studios of WFAY and WMRV. Androlonis Media presents Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to a
have Shamike Bethea also joining us. Where'd she go?
Yeah, we dropped her.
Oh, we dropped her? Okay. Okay. Well, hey.
Mika.
Well, you know, I say we're the smartest hour of talk radio, but here we go.
Tech savvy.
Okay, everybody. Well, look, as we dive into the show, we appreciate you tuning in and spending time with us. Take a moment to like, share, or follow us online. You can find our podcast everywhere: Spotify, Apple, Audible, Google, all kinds of stuff.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
Okay, so well, I guess we're gonna jump right into it.
Let's do it.
I say it. So, you want to I don't know. What do you got, Carrie?
Let Shamika back in.
Let Shamika back in. My Lord. Okay. Let's see.
She got. Well, good morning from the All-American City. This is Pastor Josh, and have I got some good news for you. In a time when so many want to unpack, talk about, and discuss all the problems, circumstances, and situations, all the negative junk, I'm here to give you some good news. So check it out, y'all. I was walking through Harris Teeter just the other day, and they were playing Christmas music. I love the holidays. The food, the friendships, the fun, the celebration of Jesus' birth. Man. And we do so much. The Sunday before Thanksgiving, we do our Thanksgiving church potluck. Then we go have Thanksgiving at Mom's house. My son and my daughter are both going to fly in from Cali and be there. December kicks off, and we're celebrating my wife's 50th, my son-in-law's 30th. And again, my son will fly back from Cali for that also. Also, former cabinet member Christina Arawes, I hope I said that right, is getting married, and I'm performing the ceremony. And that's not even to mention all of the church stuff. I'm talking ministry parties, staff parties, tree trim parties, and then, of course, we have Christmas Day itself when we celebrate the birth of our Lord. This is the only holiday season you will ever have in 2024. Paul writes to the church at Philippi, and he says this. He says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." Today, friend, I say rejoice. Be anxious for nothing. Give thanks to God and allow Him to know your request. Let the peace of God that passes all understanding, let it guard your heart. Let it guard your mind. You may need to disconnect a little. Spend a little bit of time outside, hanging out with family, friends. That is the good stuff. So get out there and do it. This is Pastor Josh, and that is your good news.
And welcome back to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm Peter Pappas. I'm here with Mr. Bryan Moore.
Bryan Moore.
Go around the table here.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. And Miss Carrie J. It's good to see you again.
Good morning.
Of course, it's always good to see Antoine Bishop Miner.
Bishop.
Listen. Next time we go around the table, it better be some chicken on it. Don't play with it.
Oh my Lord!
Bishop, look, dude, you should have seen the breakfast. I mean, the dinner I made just got done with, bro.
Play with y'all. You can have chicken and waffles for breakfast.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I did fried chicken and collard greens.
There was plenty of chicken at Peter Pappas' election night watch party at the Republican Candidate Resource Center, dog. I'm going to tell you right now. Barbecue and chicken and beans and potato salad and sandwiches and pizza.
Yeah. I'm just. I had to bring a doggy bag or something.
They went to good use. Let's put it like that,
I
Mika.
already know she's looking for leftovers so she can freeze them for later.
Exactly. That's why I'm coming to your house for Thanksgiving.
So there better be enough for people to take home.
Yep. I heard, Bishop, I hear Thanksgiving at your place is like the place to be.
Come on. You already know it's going down.
You saw that menu. Holy
I did,
cow.
yeah. How does he have time? Oh, wait a minute. He don't do nothing.
Oh.
He's a chef.
That's what he does, actually. That's what he does. He cooks.
Yeah, he's a caterer. Yeah, I've had him cater a few times.
Look at the...
Okay. All right. Well, all right, y'all. Well, look, we're all still in one piece, despite the crazy liberal left. We have a new president.
Yes.
Donald J. Trump.
Back in...
Which, happy or sad, I think...
For the last 4 years. What y'all talking about?
This
is his third term.
You know, I don't think there was one news cycle that didn't include him at the top of the hour.
Oh, yeah.
In the past 4 years.
Exactly.
No.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it just what a victory he had, and
they were all rooting for him. Trust me.
Yeah.
On his mama's side.
Yeah, on his mama's side.
Yes, on his mama's side. Well, you know, hopefully we'll see some good things. I think I already saw that the Houthi rebels and Hamas has already said, "Hey, ceasefire."
Yeah. Let's time
wait
out.
a minute.
Time out.
Stock market.
Oh yeah,
Stock market.
yep. Stock market. That's right.
But,
Gas dropped today, too.
Even though they've said, ceasefire over there, we have to look out because some of the Jews are facing like attacks in like London and the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at some video footage that they were they stomped them. They were like, we
still have challenges, I'm sure. Oh no, absolutely. But I think just the specter of Orange Man in office.
Yeah.
Is gonna definitely, it was Teddy Roosevelt walk softly, carry a big stick, and DJ Trump is that's our big stick. Though. So
let me ask, because I was talking with Nat last month, and we were speculating about the election, the outcome, and he said, "Well, I don't think there's going to be a big red wave," and I didn't either. Honestly, I was like, I think more people are going to go out, and the whole reason they're going to vote is to vote against Donald. You guys know more about politics than I do. Did we see a red wave?
Oh yes.
No,
yes.
We saw a red tsunami.
Yes,
yes.
tsunami.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
tsunami.
I mean, there was a
tsunami.
sprinkle of blue.
A little dash.
Well, I think the biggest wave that we saw was.
Hey, look, it was a wave in the nation, but not in North Carolina.
No. But we did see an increase in early voting by Republican members, which is unprecedented. I mean, we were setting records. I want to say for the first week and a half of early voting, which was 16 days.
Yeah. It was long.
So long time.
What do you know any numbers on that? I mean, how many people actually nationally?
The one thing that I know is in the first week of early voting, 1 out of 4 of the Republicans that were voting supposedly hadn't voted in 2 elections.
Really?
So not only do they normally not vote early, but they didn't. They just gave up.
Yeah.
And we were seeing people return to the polls because, better or worse, blue or red, you were amped up enough about this election to get your butt off the couch and come and let your voice be heard.
And I judged it by the slate cards. How many of those we passed out?
Well,
and people asked for them. I mean, we went through Peter. We were calling Peter every day. Peter, you need to drop some off.
So the Republican Candidate Resource Center, we printed 10,000 of those in the early vote period, and we printed another 10,000, and I think we only have 1,000, 2,000 left.
Wow!
I mean, we went through.
And those are
almost,
people asking for
yeah. And I even put a picture of Stony Point Rec Center at the early voting. Like every person had that yellow ballot, and it was such
Here's one thing we do know about this election: every Republican who voted was alive.
Yes.
There was not one dead Republican that voted. So that's a good thing.
Or a cousin.
Yeah.
Thank God
Well,
for the living.
has anybody been following Elon Musk? Has anybody been following him?
Quiet across the board.
Everybody gets quiet, but but he put a map of the United States, and he's like, look, here's all the states where Trump won, and then here's the overlay of the voter ID required.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you see
I
that?
Saw that.
California, no voter ID, it went blue.
Every place that had no voter ID, it went blue. So it was a lot of cheating in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me see if I can.
We was watching this time, so I think that was the key, that they overplayed their hand last time, and we were on high alert this time. And so
not everybody.
Well, not everybody. This Cumberland County.
Well, I just got a message that somebody asked me what is happening to the person who did not submit the names on the list. Like they just emailed me, text me, so I was like,
Now, Mika, are you about to start World War IX with our local GOP?
No.
Okay, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So I want to play.
Okay.
I was there.
You were there?
I was
ready.
Let me tell you something, and it's funny. I was there because I was over at what site was I at? I was at Massey Hill, and the lady threatened to call the police on me.
Why?
She said
Black?
she was going to call the police. She told me to leave because they would not let us inside to use the bathroom. And so I said to her, I know why you don't want us inside, because we might walk up on some improprieties because there's no observers in there.
That's right. That's
we
right.
ain't doing that. You can go. I'm calling the police. I said, call the popo. I don't care. Call the popo. I waited for 45 minutes for Ennis to show up, but he never came.
Well, now you weren't.
I recorded
so
her, though. She on video. I was on live.
The rule on that is that if you have to pass through the voting enclosure to use the restroom, then you're not allowed to.
But you didn't
that's
have
the
to.
rule. You didn't have to with that one?
You don't have to,
okay.
Because there's a back door. The Rosa Parks door is in the back.
Oh, my Lord.
And you come
Bishop.
into the Rosa Parks section, and you don't have to pass through the voting area. But when I spoke to the chair of the Board of Elections for the county, they were like, oh, we're not opening the back door. So we had an 87-year-old man out there working the polls who had to use the bathroom and had to drive to the gas station, and I went ham. I went off on
Yeah,
him.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I know that old man. He was out there. I gave him a donut, at least on election day.
Yeah, he had all the signs out there. I mean,
you got to beware us Greeks bearing gifts, but I was handing out donuts and flyers and all kinds of stuff. So, So, is anybody catch Saturday Night Live last week?
No,
I saw.
They were actually funny last week. They came out and said, "Hey, this is proof that the Democrats, in fact, don't know how to rig an election." But
they said that they were rooting for Donald all along.
Yes, that's what they said. Yeah.
That is what was said.
There was one clip I want to play. Just has I love the contrast. So let's see if I can get this thing to play. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Yeah. Hey, Peter and technical. I need somebody in here. All right, here we go.
However,
Candidates are striking very different tones trying to get out the vote. For example, here's Kamala Harris.
Your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power.
It's nice. And here's Trump.
Get that fat pig off the couch. Tell him to go and vote for Trump. He's going to save our country.
Also nice.
A little different motivation, but
men will get there first.
Yeah.
Men will get to heaven first because they were silenced for half an hour.
So we had a national elections done. We have a new president. Let's move on. So, Council of State. We had governor,
federal or state,
lieutenant governor. We're going to talk state.
Okay.
Yeah, forget those guys. Once a year they're in our pocket, so let's forget them. So Shamike, you want to talk to us about governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general? I mean, we did not do well at all as GOP.
We lost.
We
lost. We lost, we lost the governorship. Mark didn't win, and we lost the attorney general. Bishop didn't win. We lost the.
I wasn't running.
Daniel Bishop. Dan Bishop.
Dan Bishop. And lieutenant governor, that flipped blue, which is and the crazy thing is, y'all, and this is just me, like the way we voted, either Republican, well, I'll just say altogether, the way that people vote are really are uneducated. I really or in their feelings, because like right now, President Trump, one of his first agenda, he is moving, he is going to remove the the Department of Education.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so I got a bunch of liberal lunatics on my TikTok crying and carrying on that Trump's going to destroy the Department of Education. Okay.
It needs to be destroyed.
But nobody is talking about the Department of Education is what, 50, 60 years old, Shamike, at this point? And what has happened to our schools in the nation? I mean, come on, Brian. You were on school board.
Oh, yeah,
our school board race. I mean, so big decline. So he's returning that to the states where we know our children to help us.
And the thing is, with that return, because of who we have, because Michelle didn't win, Mo Green won, which is, if anybody know his background, he is part of the establishment. Like everything, when we talk about indoctrination, and you talking about, I remember listening to one of the debates between him and Michelle, and one of the things they were talking about, and someone can help me pronounce the name, but it's the case. It's the case. It starts with the L, and it's about money.
Leandro.
It's called
Leandro.
The Leandro case, and he makes the comment. He says, because we can take that money and bring in more leadership to do more things. And if you were listening closely, he's already said that money is not going to go towards students. It's going to go to more of the bureaucracy that we already see that does nothing for the teachers. So just my impression, because we're going back to the states and we have such a liberal top, that our students are going to suffer. Even now, over here in Onslow County, they're already putting a resolution together for the school board not to support it, to tell the governor not to support expansion of vouchers. And for you guys that don't know, the vouchers, Governor Cooper vetoed it. And so now going back in it, and we don't have a supermajority, and we have a Democrat, all of that stuff is halt. So we basically have people that are in failing schools in Cumberland County that's going to stay trapped.
Right.
And most of those people are going to be low-income families that their kids are going to stay in these schools. But I'll digress because I'm sure Brian has
and that's the attitude of Mo Green. Everybody sucks, but suck with me, because he's a schmuck. Every time, everything on his resume is, look at me, I worked at this failing school system and this failing school system. And then they attacked Michelle Morrow because she homeschooled her kids. Well, she homeschooled her kids because there wasn't a good alternative.
That's right.
So, and the woman is a nurse. So, I mean, she's not a dumb woman. So, Mika, I think you muted yourself.
You muted.
She was literally on the mission fields, teaching chemistry, teaching Spanish. Like, she is multicultural, have all this diverse background, and we missed out on that. And so I said it once, I said it on my Facebook, and I said it, these are going to be a rough 2 years for North Carolina.
Yes, it will.
It's going to be rough because, as we see, it has been major failure when it comes to the East, when it came to the East Coast, when it came to Hurricane Florence and Hurricane Matthew, and we still haven't rebuild North Carolina. And now we're looking at Western that they don't even have a game plan. And so we elected people that failed us in these positions before. Stein never prosecuted anybody. We don't even know where the money went. So all this investment, and the same people are going to stay where they're at.
Right.
And our schools, let me tell you, the schools, I've been teaching in Cumberland County and Lee County schools for about the last year. It is horrible. It is horrible. I just said to somebody the other day, the teachers don't teach anymore. The teachers monitor and supervise while the computers do the teaching. Everything. I had to teach a entrepreneurship class, and there was nothing in the class on entrepreneurship at all. It had nothing to do with entrepreneurship, and I'm sitting there saying, "What in the world is going on?" So, I mean, I voted for the right people. I'm gonna toot my own horn. I voted for the right people. I don't know who y'all voted for, But I voted for the right people. I don't know who Shamike voted for. She's from Cumberland County Schools. So I don't know.
What clearly that people voted for the people who won. But I will say this: we and a lot of that is in the body of Christ. That we voted for abortion. We voted for stuff that has nothing to do. I mean, we literally, and I said this to the reporter, we literally have a 12-week already law of abortion, and because of people in their emotions and all the other stuff that happened, we literally made something an issue that wasn't, and we got crap, and it's going to come out. We're going to see it within the next 2 years. I have no doubt.
But who? But then you got to look at, and Josh, me and you as pastors, I think we can both attest to this, and this is where my frustration comes in. A lot of the people who voted for those things were motivated by their pastors.
Yeah.
Pastors
absolutely.
who pushed this stuff across the pulpit, who went completely contrary to the word, who went completely contrary to the principles and the precepts of God, and pushed what I consider to be a demonic agenda.
Right.
Yep.
And
I agree with
crazy.
all of that. And I just want to, Shamike, I agree with you 100%. But we didn't vote for the immorality. We didn't vote for the immoral. It was those led by their pastors, misled by their pastors.
Yep.
Let's
I would say, but some people have different views outside their pastor. Like I agree with my pastor on this, but I literally listened to a debate earlier today where you had high school students that are talking with junior high, and it was a little girl that's talking about abortion because we have fed them so much of it. So
why is a 12-year-old, 14-year-old talking about abortion? Why don't we talk about she should be looking to learn in school and how to take care of herself, not
how to get rid of the child that she probably has.
I guess. Yeah, my God.
Well, I blame it on culture that we as the people of God, the body of Christ, conservatives, however you want to put a name to it, we have been ineffective in culture. And so when we see the results like this, it really is, and I will blame it on the body of Christ of being really failures of walking into what God has called us to walk in. But I'm going to hush because I got bishop and pastor. And
I think on that note, I think it's more like we have to raise up a standard. The Bible requires you to be the standard and be the salt and be the light. So if you are that light, if you are that salt, if you are that standard, then the culture will change. I mean, that's the only way for it to change.
I don't think it was a blowout on any of these races of what we would consider the immoral voting for abortion and all, but we'll talk more about that right when we get back.
Have another cup of coffee and get fired up with the Carolina Cabinet, Eastern North Carolina's smartest conservative morning talk show. The smartest hour of talk radio will return after these important messages from our commercial sponsors. Conservative talk radio in Eastern North Carolina. You're listening to the Carolina Cabinet. This is the morning show your daddy wanted you to listen to.
Your daddy wanted you to listen to this. No song today. We're pushing right through today. So all right. So we talked about Council of State a little bit. We did get Luke Farley in as Labor Commissioner. So as a business person, I'm happy to see that. I have done business for 26 years here. Yeah. And it is a different attitude when there's a Republican in charge of that office.
Right.
It just is. The response times go up. The staff is more friendly, I guess, more customer service oriented. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. So
and we still actually have to wait till this canvas is over.
Yeah. So tell me this: at the state level, we had. The supermajority. How many seats did we lose?
That I'm not sure. That is a Shamike and Bishop question. They
Bishop,
know better than me.
Do you know?
One. We lost one, which we no longer have the supermajority.
Did Cothram lose, or did she get reelected?
No, it was actually she won. It was actually Ken Fontenot.
Okay.
Over there in I want to say Wilson. He was a new one. But a lot of that, I honestly say we as a GOP need to look at our leadership in general. Whether you're talking about county level or state, like we lost. Like how do you lose the supermajority?
You know darn well how we lose, Shamike. When you have an ineffective GOP apparatus, That's how we lose. When you have a GOP that works against the candidates, actively obstructs, just stands in the way. I mean, I'm at the point now, I think there's some undercover Democrats in the GOP board.
I agree.
I mean, they worked very hard to make sure that we were interrupted in our course of action. So, Bryan, you ran for school board, and you had 2 opponents.
Two opponents.
Either one of those opponents, were they incumbents?
No.
So it was a brand new field. And so, did you come in second or third?
I came in third.
Oh, man. But first time out.
Not bad. First time out, and actually got beat by a opponent that only was out there one day during early voting.
Right, and that's the one that won the whole race. Day. Yeah. Yep. So, I will say that you worked
every day,
and your opponent Tom Hatch worked. You both worked very hard.
Yeah.
I was going to be happy with either one because you both were putting the work.
Right.
I did not see that opponent that won.
No.
Except the one day. And was that election day or just the last day of early voting?
No, actually, the last day of early voting, her or Tom were there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tom had to go out of town or something, but she wasn't there. She was there the day before.
We're saying opponent. Who?
Dolores Bell.
Dolores Bell. Okay.
I think she was out at.
Did she come in? Didn't she come in here?
I think so.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
And I think she was out at. Oh, I want to say across town. Oh, Ramsey Street.
Ramsey
College
Look,
Lakes.
She may have been somewhere, but not as visible as
No,
these two
I
guys.
agree.
Okay.
I mean, Bryan
I think I saw her
worked
out
his
there.
butt off.
Yeah.
He got the sunburn to match.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
College Lakes does actually run very close with Cliffdale numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So
because I can tell you, I mean,
they're normally behind by like 200-300.
You didn't see it let up at Cliffdale.
No, yeah.
No,
I mean,
nuts.
I went over to College Lakes because I was like, I'm not going across the street. Forget that. I'll drive to College Lakes, and I did. And I mean, I won't say I walked right in. There might have been one, maybe 2 people in front of me, maybe. But it was. It
seemed to go quicker at College Lakes, but they still had numbers comparable to what Cliffdale was cranking out. Yeah.
They
typically? It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
The only day I remember Cliffdale even being down was Halloween.
Yeah.
And it let off early.
Yeah.
It was still busy that day, but Saturday, the last day, I'd never seen nothing like it. When I got there at 7:15, there was 500 people in line. It stayed 500 people.
I walked outside.
You couldn't get those people to leave the line and go anywhere else.
I kept telling Peter, "Come over and sell some subs, man. You don't need this county commissioner seat, man."
I didn't answer the phone. I was asleep. 7:15.
You could not.
Yeah, I walked outside and the line was around the building. Like it's Black Friday at Walmart or something.
I drove to Spring Lake and came back, and those same people were still in line.
If I can say one thing to what you were saying earlier about the breakdown in the GOP, that Democratic machine over there at Cliffdale was unreal.
Yeah.
They were there at 7 in the morning, and they were the last ones to leave.
Well, and I agree with you on that, but that was one of the few places they did that.
Yeah.
Like, that is a strong... So, Cliffdale, guys, Cliffdale early vote, it is a 4-1 Democrat to Republican voting. I mean, that's just the way...
Yeah.
That's just the neighborhood, okay? So it's the most important, I think, for Democrats to post up, and they did a good job. Now, I think we saw more shenanigan on the backside of the rope between those good Republican GOP people wanting to wave MAGA flags.
Yeah.
You don't do that at a 4-1.
No, right.
Democrat. Because the thing is, we had Simone Pemberton.
But it's the Cumberland County way, though. It's the Cumberland County way.
It ain't my way, and I'm from here, so I'm going to quash that right now. So, look. In my campaign for commissioner, I ran what I consider a guerrilla marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't traditional with a lot of stuff, but the last thing I was going to do was go to a precinct that was 4-1 Democrat Republican and fly a MAGA sign.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't help. I don't know who the heck wants flies, but you're not going to get more flies with that kind of.
Right.
You want with Hunt.
I agree.
And we had Simone Pemberton, Leonard Bryant, good Republican candidates making inroads.
Yeah.
Speaking to people and being received.
Yes.
Not just pandered to. And then you had certain people from the GOP want to come out there and show their rears.
The crazy thing, Peter, is that they would not listen and I hate to play the race card here, but when you have, because you have to be cultural aware of what's going on, what's offending. That's why if I'm going to a heavy populated Hispanic area, I'm leaning on the knowledge of my brothers and sisters in the Hispanic community to let me know the do's and don'ts. And the same thing if I'm going to a mostly white place, I'm like, hey, y'all, Heather, Peter, Brian, let me know what's going on now, because I don't want to do nothing that's out of order.
Well, you got to read the room.
You have to read the room, and it's called cultural awareness, like what's going on. And when people that are culturally aware are telling you, hey, this is hurting me, and you don't listen, that's a form of pride. Yeah. And because we have to be strategic in what we do, not to offend anybody in such a manner that they can't even receive the other person's message, and that went out the window.
I can tell you, for me, I'm a lifelong Republican, right? And none of my family is. They're all independent now. But the level of
emotion,
the level of discontent I feel with my party.
Yes,
I'm very, I'm not pleased. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to leave, because I'm not the kind of guy who says, "Well, I'm just fine. I'm going to."
You're not going to pick up your ball and go home.
But I do want to see. I do want to see change. Mostly at the local level. There's got to be, again,
there has to be a lot of change. I mean,
you got to change that leadership.
Yes.
And honestly, I think the GOP needs to start calling. Cumberland County need to call the GOP chairwoman, the Cumberland County Republican chairwoman, Nina Morton, and tell her to resign. And one of the ladies that if we are so upset, that's a whole different story. But because right now the hardest time for me is that I wanted to contact all of the executive committee members and say, hey, we only have had 2 meetings this year. We need to provide some type of feedback. Yep. But when you can't get an updated list to even find out who is on the executive committee, it's kind of hard to be efficient in holding someone accountable.
Well,
and I think that was the thought process.
How about being a candidate on the ballot asking for who is assigned as a precinct chair? Now, for the audience, a precinct chair is basically the place you go vote, and then there's a Republican assigned to that precinct that's supposed to get out and help get out the vote. They're supposed to call their neighbors, maybe have a lunch or something in those individual precincts, of which we have 77 in the county. So that is it's a very tough job to get recruits for that. But as a candidate, I should have access to who the GOP has tapped, so that I can call them.
Yeah,
I can give them the tools for my campaign to help them call and canvas and get out the vote.
The Democrats did that much better than
absolutely
us at the local level.
I mean, that's this
they
year.
They did everything better.
Well, they did last year. 4 years ago, they did too.
I think. Go ahead, Brian.
I think.
I'll say two things. One thing was there needs to be better education for these people to know what districts they live in.
Right.
That was the biggest problem I had. I talked to 10,000 people. Well, maybe only 5 of them may have been in District 3.
Yeah.
And it cost me a car because they don't know where they know where they stand.
Well, I don't know where I live. Look, I'm in District 2 County Commission. I'm in God knows what District School Board, City Council. I'm District 5.
Yeah.
I don't know what my congressional and Senate. I think I was in Charles Smith.
Unless you're actually looking at the ballot.
Yeah.
So, and this is going back to Shamike's point earlier that she stated about having that educated voter, and education being the most important thing that really truly should be focused on, like going forward, is educating the voter on not just like how to vote, but like what are your resources? Like, do you know to look at the ballot so you know what district you're in? I mean, I had to look at it a couple of times because I forgot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because there's so many people that you could be voting for at any point in time.
We can't educate everybody before we educate the head of our party. And you have to have a head of the party that is smart enough to know what she doesn't know. Okay? This person heading the CCGOP is a hairdo in an empty suit. That's all there is to it. I don't know if a hairdo in an empty suit. Want me to say it again?
Write that down. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt.
Good. Put it on a T-shirt. So here's the thing. I don't know if anybody in the county knows this, but we're supposed to have Republican observers inside the polls. Okay? So the county chair is responsible to recruit, trying to get 77 people to sign up to be the GOP poll observer. And that means that you have someone appointed by the party to go in there and sit. It's a boring job.
Yep. And you just watch them.
You just got to watch and make sure they're not putting double ballots or whatever. We had 0.
Exactly.
0 because survey says
because the GOP leadership in Cumberland County has 0 brain cells.
What happened, Peter? What happened?
It was a technical. It was blamed on a technical glitch with email. So I think that's a pretty tough concept. But she didn't turn in the list. Chairwoman Morton did not turn in the list on time to the Board of Elections for them to then vet and distribute that list to the 77 precincts.
Look at my face, Peter.
I look at it. It's a beautiful face.
And I would say, because we're on this subject, that the continual we have gone. She has been in charge for almost 2 years now. The first year we did absolutely nothing to prepare, and it was only when the RC opened that she felt threatened to actually do something. That is so inefficient. Well, and I will put this on record. I don't have a problem with her personally. I could care less. But my issue is with leadership, that you cause us to fail. In general, we were not even though I think Simone and Bryan did absolutely amazing in their districts, because they're like a D17 and a D like 19. They're hard districts, and they still made inroads in those districts. However, when we're trying to make an impact in Cumberland County to bring up issues, and we have someone to constantly work against us, that is not the way to move forward.
No, it's not.
Mika, let me ask you.
So let's let Josh in here for a second.
Let me ask you, because in your opinion, were those races then lost by the candidates or by the party? Do you understand?
I would say by the party.
Okay.
But our goals, we knew when we went in there, our goal was to make impact in there. So Simone getting like 35%, that was like more than we thought. We thought the goal was like 17%. If she can get 17, we were good. But to get 34, it was awesome. We were able to actually turn some Republicans. We wanted the people to know that we were there and not give up as Republicans, because what we're seeing is as a trend within the Republican Party that in high D areas, we don't even fight for the seat. We just give it up. And so we wanted to make sure, but the thought process was that if we got people to run in those hard D areas, that the GOP will have people run in like areas that they could possibly win. But what we found out, that they didn't recruit anybody for 45. They didn't recruit anybody to run for judges. They didn't recruit anybody to do those things. As a matter of fact, the people that were supposed to be working on that, they end up quitting because of the chairman. Our chairman has lost almost all of her team twice over.
Yeah.
Well, and
so what it tells.
But here's the question I have. I don't mean to cut you off. If the goal is to win elections and to move the conservative agenda and to push back against the other agenda, my question then becomes: if you didn't do the work, if you didn't have the people in place, if what needed to be done didn't get done, my question then becomes why? What was the motivation behind the GOP not being motivated to get this stuff done? Like, you knew it was coming. You knew these elections was coming. You got candidates out there running for offices. I said it before when I ran for mayor, putting their lives on the line, their livelihoods on the line. I mean, going out there. You know they are out there, but you are not supporting them. To me, it's like you are purposely sabotaging it's like self-sabotage. But then the question becomes why?
So when you guys mentioned about the observers, right? And then this is just, Carrie's conservative perspective, that it wasn't a conservative agenda at that time for her not to support. That agenda was more based off of to feed the other propaganda that's out there that is coming from the red side.
What propaganda?
So one thing's about, voter integrity and stuff like that. So the agenda was to feed into the voter integrity. If I don't give you observers, then now I have a complaint. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the reality is we don't even know if there was impropriety because we didn't have anybody in there because our chair didn't care to do it.
Exactly.
Well,
but at the same time, now I can actually say something about it, even the fact that I didn't put an observer there. But I have the right to. I can now continue my propaganda to say that there is no voter integrity.
I don't think there's enough brain cells at the top for them to have had the foresight to do something like that.
Here.
But I'll go with that.
Well,
Brian,
I mean, and for the school board results not to dump until almost 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
I mean,
so that had to do with new laws. I was frustrated as all get out. I left my own election party at 12:30, and my quote, it was in City View. I was like, look, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm going home. I'll wake up a commissioner or a sandwich maker tomorrow. Good night. I'm good, right?
Good quote.
But but so this new state law, they're not allowed to start counting early votes until the polls close 7:30 p.m. Tuesday. Used to be they could start in the afternoon, and then they would do the first data dump like 7 or 8 o'clock. So there was a lot of new laws that took effect that really screwed us up.
But I want to go back one thing to the Resource Center. You know, as a new candidate, never ran before, I was very thankful for the Resource Center because they're actually the only ones I felt that helped me. You know, when I had questions, I could call Peter, and I had some other people I could call. But, you know, the slate cards that were coming out, it was a battle every day of whose you were using.
Yeah.
And I was like, does it really matter? It's the same name.
Just give me some cards. Yeah.
But it was just,
Exactly.
it was ridiculous. I mean, it really did create a lot of issues. I felt as a new candidate. I didn't know who to turn to. And I felt like the focus of the local GOP was on the national. It wasn't on this because
the GOP is
I mean, if
supposed
you look
to
at
get
mine
the
and
vote
Tom's
out.
numbers,
Yeah.
we could have won that. If he wouldn't have gotten into the race, or say I wouldn't have 4 months before him, you know, that could have been won.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, listen, I think from the Republican Candidate Resource Center, we want people to work together.
Yeah.
My goal with having the center is that we as Republicans in Cumberland County are outnumbered, okay, like 3-1, I think. But we have to start showing up together. We have to start showing people in a very blue county that, you know what, we go to church with y'all.
Yeah.
We run businesses here. We depend on you, and we hope you depend on us. And so when there's a press conference or a community event, I want us to remain showing up. We look out for each other. You know, so Shamike is the president of the. Is it? I'm going to get the name wrong. Is it the Cumberland County? Okay.
Republic.
Yeah, I said the wrong one the other day. I got looked at real bad.
Which one? You the president, Shamike?
She's also a client.
Madam President.
But you know, through the Women's Club, through the people at the Resource Center, we're not done with our story.
Yeah.
This is just I'm keeping that place open so that Republicans have a place to come and say, how do I get involved?
Yeah.
We want to recruit people already for city council in 25. I'm already looking ahead.
Yeah.
And Peter, and what really sucks is that we started that club. The RC was started out of frustration because the GOP was nowhere to be found. Right. Even the executive committee, and so and even our chairwoman was invited to come out, and so now to constantly hear. They're not really true Republicans, and the constant sabotage coming from her causing division when it was supposed to be a place of unity and to pick up slack where she was lacking in. And so now I'm just kind of glad that the GOP is closing. You know, the lease is about up. They're going to be closed soon. And so we can continue to build upon what is to come for next year.
I do want to mention this. I love the whole not Republican enough argument because as far as I'm concerned, when it came to party loyalty, there was some guys, I don't know, in history, this guy Lenin and Mao, they would go around and round people up because you weren't such and such enough.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I kind of feel with some of these Republicans. Like, well, he's not, he supported a Democrat or it's like, bro, you know where you live?
And you know,
I mean,
so I commented on a comment like that, and I'm going to hush because I know other people want to talk too. But I was like, President Trump literally took Democrats in his cabinet. Yeah. You know, we had former people. Juanita Gonzalez, which sits on the GOP board now, was a former Democrat, elected as a Democrat, never held an office as a Republican. But yet we keep having this. As a matter of fact, when the vote yes was going on, Mayor Shivani, who is a Democrat mayor, came to the Cumberland County Republican executive committee to explain to us what was the vote yes. And nobody had anything to say. And all of a sudden, now we have something to say about Democrats, and I tell people, you will find some Democrats that's more conservative than some of the Republicans.
Absolutely.
And we need to stop this division thing and look at individuals and find out their belief system. And even with myself, you know, the comment was made and actually given to a reporter that I was not a true Republican, and I wanted to. I told the reporter
you, Shamika,
and I.
Right?
Yeah, and I told him, and I told him, I was like, most people don't realize I've had death threats. They have emailed me on my business line. I have gotten mails in the, you know, stuff that I go through on a daily basis just for being a Black Republican. And so for you to come at me for saying that I'm not Republican enough, actually I'm Christ enough. So I will debate with a Republican if they're wrong, and I will fight with a Democrat if they're wrong, because my center is Christ. And if anybody has an issue with that, you take that up with the God that called me. But those are the things that we go through.
She's got some fighting words up in here. Oh, I like it. Keep it going.
Shamika.
You better pass a basket quick.
Well,
one of the things that I noticed too as a fairly educated voter, obviously not in the league of you guys, but the number of options I didn't have. Only a Democrat, only, you know, and it's like, I've got certain principles where I'm just not going to vote that way.
Well, that's where our party should be recruiting people.
Yeah.
Our party needs to be attracting people and showing people that we do have an element of good. Okay. But when you have people running unopposed, you're tacitly saying, they're doing a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the message that the GOP is sending out, whether they want to or not. They can fly all the way down the parade route, flying rah, 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 MAGA, 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 all that stuff. But you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody online has said anything to me, I want to ask them, well, how many doors did you knock?
Yeah.
How many phones did you call? We called 3,000 people Monday before election at the Resource Center. That was 3%. I mean, look, it was only 3%. Of the unvoted people. 101,000 people hadn't voted as of Monday before the final election. And we managed to... Go ahead.
I said, don't forget, we sent over 6,000 text messages just to try to get people out.
See? I think I got about 2,000 of those.
Yeah, I think. Well, I sent 45,000 in my campaign, so you poor guys, you got a lot. But it was funny. I unfortunately used a two-way system, which we talked about last time, and there was some pretty unhappy people. Let's just say that.
Some colorful responses.
Very colorful. I mean, about as colorful as I would be, but.
I think it's something that we need to address. It was said a little while ago. Shamika said when she go into a white neighborhood, she call Heather, Peter, and Bryan.
You notice who she did?
She didn't say nothing about Josh. I told y'all Josh ain't white.
I did.
That might be the standard that she's missing.
Well, I thought it.
That might be the standard that you're missing, Shamika.
I was just using us as a, and then I wanted to correct myself. I was like, I need to call Peter for the Greeks, because Peter, the Greek culture got a whole rituals,
a whole thing, whole thing.
Well, you know what,
you
Shamika,
just call Pastor Josh for the covering.
Yeah. They're not answering no text messages. I can tell you that. Right. They don't even have smartphones.
Josh is one of us. It's over.
I'm happy to be your token. You call me anytime, Shamika. I'll be there for you, girl.
Thank you.
Don't you worry.
Thank you.
And if you're ever going into a black neighborhood, Shamika, I got your back. Just come.
But isn't that so
that's
cool?
Right.
Though,
call them when you go to the black neighborhood.
It's like we're of Fayetteville. It doesn't matter to us.
Hey, look, as long as I'm going to the Haitian community,
that's right, girl. I get you in touch. I know them all.
Well, I've said before that Cumberland County is like integration mission accomplished. I mean, our black population here is like 60%.
Yeah.
Where nationwide it's 13.
Yeah.
We are very integrated, whether we like it or not. I'm not saying we don't have problems.
We are.
We don't always see eye to eye, but come on, guys.
Yeah.
I think maybe the force should be on
honestly,
educating.
And Peter, this is what I think, and even with the whole slate, it is important to have diverse leadership, and not in a sense to make a DEI quote, but when you're in a sector like Cumberland County, and it's like 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all these different groups. You're going to have to know how to communicate with those groups, and you're going to have to know how to do it. So you need a diverse team with a diverse background.
And you know what, Shamike, I think we were ahead of our time with having that. I think most people were concerned for whatever reason about seeing the diversity because they're not accustomed to seeing that in the GOP slate. And for people listening, the slate is a list of people that the outgoing board of the GOP Cumberland County assembled saying, hey, these people can work well. Please elect them. But they chose otherwise. We have the slate that they wanted, and now they've reaped the rewards of the wrong slate. And that's not sour grapes.
And it shows on our Facebook page, too.
Yeah.
On the GOP,
it does.
The Cumberland County GOP Facebook page. If anybody's out there watching, just go to Facebook and type in Cumberland County Republican Party and look, just stroll down and just see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with 2025 on the horizon, I believe if the agenda is the conservative agenda, or to get a conservative agenda throughout the local races, then that needs to be just the conversation in the education piece.
I'm going to say this. I never, ever would I have pinned my success or failure as a candidate on the people on the GOP board that currently sit. My success or failure is completely up to me and speaking to voters and trying to earn their votes every day. Just like at the restaurant when they come in, I got to earn their business every time they come in. If I give them a bad sub, they ain't coming back. If Brian sends them a spoiled bunch of produce every week, they're not going to buy from him again unless he super discounts some stuff. But, and that's what the GOP needs to understand. We have to earn people's votes. We have to earn their loyalty. There's no reason to choose a GOP candidate unless we give them a good candidate. And I've been raked over the coals enough for saying I supported a Democrat because everybody forgets that we had an idiot running for mayor. And
Peter,
sorry,
you're not going to call names.
Well, too late. So
call it, Peter.
When you're inept and you don't even know from where you came from as far as your last career, and you want to tell me that BAH is the same as Section 8 housing, then you need to go and get out somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect example of a race because I wouldn't vote.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to.
You
vote
would just leave it alone.
I just I'm and people are like, how can you do that? I'm like, hey,
give me an alternative. I will support a good candidate.
I'm not going to support just for the sake of support.
No, not at all. And we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Listen, Republicans are supposed to be good with money, good with math, conservative.
Yep.
We go to church-going folks, and we look at the character of the people.
No.
You're supposed to not vote straight.
Nope.
You're not supposed to do that. So,
but that's also to our detrimental too, because we have for example, the people that did not vote in the state at top felt the same way, and now we're up under Democrat rule, which is worse than what we than if we had Republicans elected, which I thought that were quality candidates, but apparently other people didn't. Mm-hmm. So we have to figure out a healthy balance on when to we just say withdraw, and I have done because I have done that before as well. But we need to figure out a healthy balance to say when to do that and when not.
Strategy.
Work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, as much as I like Jimmy John subs, I have found myself eating more Baldino subs.
I do.
Yes,
than Jimmy John.
And I appreciate that. So
maybe we can use that approach.
You know what the music means, guys. Okay,
like
you keep it up,
Firehouse.
Bishop. I'm gonna turn off your feed, boy. I'm telling you right now. So you know what? Our 60 minutes is up for the radio, but stay tuned. We're going to go in a little overtime. I think we're having some fun tonight, or this morning, whatever. We're lying. Anyway, please check out our podcast for some bonus time with our guests as we dive deeper into the issues. I want to say thank you to Pastor Joshua Goodman, Miss Carrie J.
Fire to Uniparty.
Bryan Moore.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Shamike and Bishop, thank you for being here.
Hello.
And to our listeners, I hope you'll do us a favor. Take time this week to visit one of our commercial sponsors. Let them know you heard their message right here on the Carolina Cabinet. If you do somehow miss an episode of our top-rated,
you can
Not
find us on...
X-rated.
You can find us on your favorite podcast broadcaster.
Like your t-shirt.
Apple, Spotify, Google, Audible. We're kind of everywhere. Type in The Carolina Cabinet in those apps or on Facebook and like our page. Thanks again for tuning in this morning. Until next time, we are
The Carolina Cabinet.
Carolina Cabinet.
Here.
Welcome back to this special programming from the Carolina Cabinet, North Carolina's smartest show on the radio.
And welcome back to this bonus time on the Carolina Cabinet. We're just having so much fun today. We just had to stick around.
Yeah, a few more minutes.
Josh, you look so tired, man. You must. You just drove. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's the beach look.
Yeah, it's my beach look.
Everybody else in here is like ready to go, and Josh is looking at me like,
no, you got to understand. So I, like yesterday, right? Sunday, I didn't take the day off. I drove from the beach 2 hours here, preached, did my service, and then I drove back to the beach. I don't know that I'm going to do that.
I'm still not feeling sorry for you because the destination was beach.
And then I drove back home today. So that's.
I don't know. Did you go to Myrtle Beach or something?
Yeah, I went to Little River.
Okay.
Cherry Grove. That's my jam.
So I'm going. I put it on my things to do next year. Going down to Myrtle Beach so I can go to Calabash. That's the only thing I want to do.
Well, so. Look. So you are talking to a professional Calabash individual. So when you go to Calabash, you got to eat at the little burger place that's on the corner.
Yep.
Amazing. And then there's 2 thrift shops that are like real close to each other. And
street shop.
Yeah.
And if you forget Shamika, then just ask him again before you go.
Okay, all right.
I go to Captain George Calabash. I like the big boat in the middle of the restaurant.
That's not in Calabash, dude.
That's got to be a Greek one down there, Captain George. It's got to be. Got to be.
Where that's at.
So, all right. So we wanted to stay over just a little bit. Any more comments besides being upset at our local party? I mean, Bryan, do you got anything to say about your race? I mean, how was your experience? I mean, just tell me about, because it was first time out for you.
No, yeah,
so
I mean,
talk to me.
I tell people it's probably one of the hardest things I have yet to do, but I enjoyed it. It was very educational.
Yes.
I kind of knew in my race. I mean, I thought I had a chance when I got in, but when, like I said, when Tom got in, it was either one or two things was going to happen. He was either going to split with Dolores because he ran Democratic, or he ran Independent, she ran Democratic, or he was going to split with me.
Well, now it's a nonpartisan race, though.
But
technically
it is. But
now, was
not.
Dolores in there before you got in?
No, I was the first one.
So you were the first. Okay, and then
she got in, and then Tom got in. Tom got in like I want to say like the week before it was time to call it. But
okay,
made it very difficult. But I was very happy that I met you. I mean, I've known you for years, but
you know me forever.
Met the Resource Center, and it was it helped me out a lot. Taught me a lot of things, and you helped me out.
Well,
so
we appreciated you coming in, and
and
likewise, you support us. You know, I mean, by helping hand out our.
Sure.
You know, we had the sample ballot. If you look on the Republican Candidate Resource Center page, I put pictures up from Stony Point where people were like lined up with all the yellow ballots, and I did that as kind of throwing some shade. Because the thing is, look, a slate card to a listener is the most boringest thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a list of names. You don't know anybody on there, and it's not relevant to your ballot. So we were handing out full size yellow paper ballots showing
I got
here's
one.
all the Republicans.
I got one.
And it was a very slick piece of marketing, but it was a soft sell. And that's what I liked about it. And Bryan, you've been in sales forever, so look, when you can approach somebody and you can say, "Hey, would you like a sample ballot?" Instead of, "Do you want the Republican slate card?"
Yeah.
What are you're gonna get more attention.
More bees with honey.
Yeah, more bees with honey. Why do I keep saying flies?
And
who the hell wants flies? So anyway,
you use something else to attract flies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they got plenty of that down on the board. So anyway, we had our marketing pieces. We were Shamika. I think you said you texted like 6,000 people.
We did over 6,000
through that. We had Jesse Berger on here last week. Talking about Next Text, which was the two-way texting. So, we're exploring new tools and new ways to contact the voters and try to engage people. One thing the center did that was an idea that was struck down by the board and that's why we just did it, is Laura Musler took it upon herself to pay for postage and handwrite letters to every new Republican that registered to vote in Cumberland County.
Wow.
Now, I don't know how many. She sent, I think she probably spent a couple hundred letters. But that was an idea when she was on the board that she offered and was struck down. But that's a very personal touch. Hey, welcome to the party.
Yeah, because, again, as the average citizen, if I get something in a business-sized thing, like, oh, that's probably John. If you send me a card, even if it looks, I'm gonna open it.
If it's something I have to open with an envelope, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, she took the extra time and she did it.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
It's not all vinegar over here. It's not all sour and vinegar. We really do want to try to bring people together. And Brian, it was a pleasure working with you.
Are you using the next text
It's not all vinegar. I like my salt, pepper, and oil.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I think that is the Baldino's way: salt, pepper, oil,
vinegar and oil, salt, and oregano.
Yep.
So good. You guys are making me hungry.
I was going to ask you: are you using the next text for the resource center?
We will be.
As a way of educating.
Yeah. So listen, to anybody listening, we're trying to recruit right now for city council. We're not giving up. Okay. My goal, as it was when we founded the center, was to turn Cumberland County purple. It is a conceit to think you're going to go all red here after so many years of Democratic mismanagement. It's just not going to happen. And that's where
a lot of once all these investigations start happening, we might go red. We might go
right.
red.
Well, now we did elect Dave Bullock as state auditor. So, and he did promise in his campaign that he's going to audit City of Fayetteville and Cumberland County. So there's going to be a long river of tears. Let's just look at the fire station. Is it a tennis or pickleball court?
Tennis courts.
Okay, tennis courts, fire station, and sidewalks.
Don't even start talking about a parking garage.
The same. Well, no, that's a whole other. So the same guy that got awarded the contract for the sidewalk and screwed that up for like $100K. Then they're like, let's give him a tennis courts, and that fire station is going to have to be torn down. The one on Bragg Boulevard looks like it's almost done. They didn't get the inspection on the rebar inside the poured concrete walls. So what you're supposed. So when you're building something like that, you have to put the rebar cage up and have it inspected and tied off right, and then you can pour your concrete. Well, this guy poured the concrete. There's no proof that the rebar is even in the wall.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy's a real scamp.
So the fire station is a fire hazard.
Yes, it is.
Fire station is a big fire hazard.
Like.
Well,
sounds like it might be a new training center.
Yeah. We're going to get together on that one. So, okay, so let's see.
Well, you also have county commissioners coming up too.
Yeah, 2 years we have at-large, the District 1 county commissioner, and then there's two of those, and then two at-larges that are voted by the whole county, like the mayor.
Seats.
So we'll see what happens in 26.
Four school board, right?
I think so. The at-large school board goes in the off years.
School board seats.
I'll tell you this: my party better get itself together this upcoming. I'm just going because I want some strategy. I want some planning.
Right.
What about
can
sheriff?
y'all plan for sheriff? I was getting ready to say, can somebody plan for sheriff?
Well,
please?
Is that 25?
It's going to be
26.
It's going to be 26. Yeah, it goes in the off years, and I think they do that to keep Democrats in these offices because low voter turnout favors the blue side. It just does. Republicans need high turnout elections to be able to get any of the seats. You got to get people to show up. Like I said, I was very happy. 61 or 62% of registered voters did turn out in this presidential election, but we were looking for 65%.
Yeah.
So,
but that number is going to drop. That number always drops substantially when you go into the municipals. And I think that's where.
What was it when we ran, Bishop? Was it like 10%, 11%?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 11%. But that's
I think somebody
that's where the conservative education has to come in at.
We have to look at drawing some new lines too. The districts are crazy, especially school board. I mean, mine started Bragg Boulevard, Morganton Road, and I'd have a street here. I didn't even know. Somebody asked me, I'm like, I'm not really sure.
I think that takes longer as a candidate to figure out, well, where do I need to go? To talk to people, and then, and they give you stuff at the board, streets and stuff, but my God, it's such a deluge of information.
But that's where you have to educate yourself early as a candidate.
Yes.
The problem is a lot of candidates jump in. When I ran, one of the things that I started running before I started running. I started figuring stuff out well before I started running. We have got to do a better job at educating ourselves in advance and educating the voter, because most voters, especially here in Cumberland County, they don't care about the municipals in these local elections. Yeah.
They focus on Bishop. It's not their fault. Okay, look, the voter is taking care of their family and going to work. Mm-hmm. They're depending on us to have our crap together as a party.
Yeah.
To talk to them and communicate and say, look, Joe Schmo, I need you to come out November 5th and vote for these guys because we've already talked to them. They're smart folks here.
The continued conversation.
I will add on to that, Peter, that it's not just about having people come out and vote for certain people. It's about educating them what's going on right now, whether the tax, because that if we do that effectively, we don't have to tell them when to come out and vote. They're going to be ready to come out and vote because they're educated.
Well, an engaged voter is the educated voter. Absolutely. They got to be fired up over something. I mean, Bryan ran for school board not because everything's going hunky-dory.
Right.
You saw an opportunity to improve because you've got kids in school.
That's
right.
We're
the only candidate that had kids in school.
Yes, and there won't be a parent on the board after this school year.
Really?
With active kids in school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Carrie, what'd you have?
So there's Shamika's right. You got to educate people. Cause, like when I ran for city council, one guy told me he couldn't vote for me because he was in District 10.
Right.
And I didn't know we had 10 districts in Fayetteville. But I told him whoever his council member was, they was doing one heck of a job because I never heard it.
Go ahead, Carrie.
So I actually have two things. The first thing I'm going to say I'm going to make that a second thing. The first thing I'm going to say is that one of the things that we were talking about at our the Libertarians over at District House of Taps, there was an exercise that was done out at the beach, and it was where we looked at ballots and to see the different talking points and break that down. So in the new year, that is one of the things I'd like to bring to probably the main library to actually have people in and go through that exercise. Not ballots, but bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
The legislative bills and break them down.
Yeah, those bills
and
are
get
not
the perspective to
they're
see.
in halfway plain English. If you're curious enough, you can Google get from the state legislature these bills.
Yes, it's just
Carrie,
to give the actual different talking points so that we can actually educate the voter on what people are talking about. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Shamika.
Carrie, we will probably have to team up and do something like that as well, because we have already been discussing actually different engagement, but partnering with different people, not to be conservative or Republican, but to actually sit down and have these opportunities for people to learn. Because remember, civics was taken out of school. Basic things that we should know as American citizens, as adults, we don't know. People that have been nationalized know more about our government system than we do. And so it has to be a re-educational thing. So Carrie, when you start doing something like that, please let me know. We be having things coming up as we look into the new year. We have a strategic, our next Cumberland County Republican Women's Club meeting will be November the 19th. And some of the things that we'll be doing is looking over what we did right, what we did wrong, and how to strategize with going forth through actually educating the community, engaging with them.
You see, listeners, we have a plan.
Yes, we're looking at more towards February. And then my next question was actually going to be towards Bryan or anyone that could possibly answer. But is the Board of Education, those districts, are they dependent on the census, or are those something that they can change depending on how new schools come up and stuff?
Yeah, who decides that?
My understanding, I was told two different things. I told that the county commissioners can change it, but then I was also told that the school board can change it. I was told that the school board is the one that changed it last time.
Yes,
and that's where, if you look at it, how long these members stay on, because nobody can beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
in District 3, if you are a other side of Skybow candidate and you're a Democrat,
you're in.
You're in.
And see, that's the other confusion with school board, is not only are the districts, they don't really follow any what you would reasonable.
No, it's like I said,
person,
I'm a small piece of Terry Sanford.
I think it is based on the census of the parents. It doesn't follow the school district of 71st or Terry Sanford. It breaks those.
Leave it
lines.
to government.
So they really helped us with that one.
And
big
that's
time.
but I think that's where the one, it would be great to understand how the districts are broken down for the school. I know, like when I was growing up, and I'm still going back to my, how I like to go back to Virginia and reminisce.
95 North, baby. Stay here, Carrie. Stay here. Don't go nowhere.
But no, the school districts there was a battle. Like, I remember political battles with like the Board of Education because they had the power to redistrict like at any time based off of schools that were coming
just
up
imagine if we abolished the federal Department of Education and all that liquid gold comes back to us. How much more contentious your school board race is going to be next time. So, and I do want to say this. I feel like I'm part of the problem here with county commission. This is the first county commission race where there was real money raised, and I'm talking. They were top 3 opponents. I don't know what Kirk spent. I know what Mr. Patel and Mr. Tyson spent, and you're looking over $300,000 between the two of them. I spent $40,000.
Wow.
Now, in retrospect, speaking to former commissioners,
$40,000.
Yes, sir.
Pete, I asked you for $20. You see this?
I got your $2 right here.
Yeah.
So
$20.
So
$20.
I want to just point this out. Previous commissioners, Jimmy Keefe says, "Look, I only raised around $17,000 at the most." I'm afraid I'm part of the problem that just broke the mold with county commission. I'm afraid that with what we've done in this cycle, we have signaled to people that if you don't have a ton of cash, you ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
And that takes away from the citizen elected official that we're supposed to have.
Well,
now, I'm good at business, so I raise a couple of dollars. But I didn't feel like I needed to raise $250,000.
Well, and I'm going to hit you with a different aspect of that. I did about 25.
Did you?
I think, and Hatch was around 16, and I don't think Dolores was maybe around 500 or so.
I don't think she did. Yeah.
I mean, a few signs. I mean, nothing else. I mean, it shows you.
Money isn't everything in politics.
It's not. It's not really everything in politics.
Y'all gotta look. Wait a minute. Y'all can't really see Josh's face because y'all throwing out these numbers, and Josh's face is saying, "I ain't seen not one tithe check."
That's why y'all didn't win.
Yep.
You didn't give the Lord his portion?
That's right.
Look, don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on Jesus. There you go.
Give him the cut. Well,
you don't invest in the kingdom, then you expect the kingdom to invest in you?
Well, the whole time I was at Cliffdale, I was waiting for Josh to walk over and at least feed me.
Yeah, right?
Oh, we feed.
Yes. Well, they had a barbecue the first couple days out there.
Oh,
before,
yeah, but that was not for...
Peter, right?
You could have went over and got you a plate.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So what else do we have to talk about with the election? Bishop, Miko, you got anything else you want to add to the election coverage here?
I got one legal statement to make.
Uh-oh.
Y'all who have political campaigns that have money left over, y'all know y'all can donate it to Josh's church as a non-profit. So go on, send that check on over there to Cliffdale. Josh, cut me in when he gets
you know I will, brother. You know I will.
And, well, you know what, Bishop, about that, though, I'd love to send it to you guys, but I think when I filed, I had to say who... Like if it
designate the nonprofit,
I had to designate it then.
You can change it.
You can change it. Okay. Well, if I have anything left over, we'll see. Because I'm still paying some bills. Yeah.
Now,
right.
Does anybody? Okay. So
stop,
someone give the update? Because all right, I saw a post 2 days ago. I was looking for it. I can't find it right now. But there are over 600,000 provisional ballots.
No, not that many. No.
Okay. Was it a smaller number?
In Cumberland County?
That number? No. Throughout the state, throughout the state, there were over 600,000 provisional ballots.
It's about
that were
in Cumberland.
Were waiting for ID verification.
I got these from the board a little while ago. So as of November 11th, there are 600 civilian absentee ballots yet to be counted, and there are 2,700 plus provisional ballots. So the people that walked in and weren't registered, but they voted them anyway. But so what'll happen with that is if you weren't registered, they let you vote, but it's not going to count. And all that'll happen is you'll be registered to vote next election. but to prevent static at the polls, they just let you vote.
That's the county.
Yeah.
That's the county, right?
That's the county, yeah. That's all I care about.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was talking about for the state. And there's actually like a couple of races where because it's like 7,000 difference or whatever, that they're not actually officially covering. They're not calling that race.
There are thresholds that will automatically trigger a recount. So November 15th is the official final canvass. That means the final numbers come out November 15th. And candidates that want to contest have till 5 o'clock November 18th to say, hey, I want to recount. Yeah. Unless it automatically triggers because it's so low, it's so close. So
if it's so low,
Peter, is your thing still separation of 213?
200. It was 215. And then they found 2 more votes for me somehow. I don't know. The Democrats, they got a box of ballots they're going to whip out. So they might have forgot to check the wrong one for me.
I wonder if they can find my 4,000.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about 4,000. There's not 4,000 missing in Cumberland County.
Good if we clarify for people, because one of the things that I've been hearing is people saying, especially, I know we're not talking too much about the presidential election, but Trump won, so I'm going to talk about it. They're saying, it ain't over yet. There's still ballots to be counted. Here's the thing. The ballots that still need to be counted have no effect on the presidential election.
None.
They do not.
None.
It's over.
They do not.
Yeah.
That's over with.
Gas prices are coming down, and chicken wings are now affordable.
Oh, Big Girl has sung.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now,
I wouldn't go that far. Super Bowl is coming up.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, they haven't said it. However, to me, the lieutenant governor, I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers were what I saw out there, if that seat didn't change. Only because it was flip-flopping the whole night.
It was very non-traditional for North Carolina. So traditionally we put opposite parties in the White House and the governor's mansion, but it is odd to have both governor and lieutenant governor to be the same party.
Yeah.
That is still odd. So it's kind of like we expected Stein, but we expected Weatherman to be the lieutenant governor. So we did have some surprises, but I fortunately, Donald Trump is our president. Confidence is higher. And that's it. The president does not control the price of gas. He doesn't control the price of chicken wings, but he certainly controls your confidence in who's going to run the joint.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we still have Senator Rouser and Senator McInnes and House Representatives
Wheatley.
Yep.
Go ahead, Bishop.
I've been hearing, and this is something I've been seeing trending on social media. People saying that this election was fraudulent, calling for investigations into the elections, and I thought, I don't know, but I thought it was illegal, and you would be prosecuted if you question the results of a presidential election.
Well, look, I get my news from Saturday Night Live, Weekend Update, and they said this election is proof that the Democrats can't rig an election. But what about one more? Okay, so there's always one more thing. What about the 4B movement? All these crazy chicks shaving their head, saying they're not going to make the sex to their significant others, and did you see all that?
I did.
Don't everybody look at me like I'm crazy.
No, I saw one reel. I didn't know what it was. You're bringing light to what it was, but it's a bunch of girls shaving their heads.
Yeah. Did you see anybody though that looked like you'd want to take out? That's different.
That's what I was about to
say.
Thank you. Nobody having sex with them anyway.
But I did tell you guys that it was going to be quiet.
Yes,
I did. You guys looked at me like I was crazy.
I know I did. I looked at you like you were going to be crazy because I was like,
"Oh no, it wasn't just you. It wasn't just you." I think Simone with the E looked at me like
I was like, "Oh no, it ain't going to be quiet. This nation about to."
I was like, "If Trump wins, it's going to be peaceful."
Okay, but look at the liberals, like the snowflake beta male people. Who are they going to rebel against? Get their butts. I mean, white. The whole white dudes for Harris thing. My wife's boyfriend. So anyway, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's always
shave their hair off.
Did you hear the immediate thing? Before you say always is a good time, but did you hear the latest from 47? He said today that he's repealing all of that other stuff that's,
What other stuff?
The transgender stuff.
The sex change.
You mean mutilating children?
The mutilation, yes.
Yes.
That was like the immediate first thing on the agenda.
He's going to change it back to Fort Bragg too.
Yeah. Well, and you know what?
So here's the thing.
He said it out of his mouth.
This is my thing. I understand you want to do all of these changes. I wasn't for the changes when they first happened. And my thing is, please, can we go take care of our veterans with that money before we go and change the name?
Well, that was my point.
All over again.
That was my point.
When we had,
I'm like, look, I don't care if Fort Joe it was going to cost like
6
$300. Yeah, $6 million.
And then Fort Bragg is not the only one that changed. Like you got Fort Benning that changed.
What's Fort Benning?
Guess what? Fort Benning is
in
Fort
Georgia.
Moore.
Really? That's why. Because I've had people telling me I'm going to Fort Moore, and I'm like,
where's that?
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
That's Fort Benning. But here, guess what?
I say that with Fort Liberty. I'm like, where's that at?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what will not change. All right? The military history of that installation will not change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they will continue to say Fort Benning and Fort Bragg.
Oh, yeah.
It will continue to be like that. The DD-214 for everybody that left will not change. Those awards,
I mean, look,
it's not changing.
The way I look at it is like this. If we can get the entree served and save our children from mutilation and puberty blockers, and that's children. That's what we're preventing. I don't look. If you're
11,
18 and you want to cut off the twig and giggleberries, man, knock yourself out.
Hey.
Well, hey.
Hey, he's also starting a fund where the children the people that already received those surgeries that can go back and sue their doctors and them that lied to them.
Can I say one thing to Carrie?
Go ahead.
Have you ever done any business on Fort Bragg?
No.
There's so much waste out there that the veterans shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah,
the money they spend on crap, I'm telling you.
I felt like the $6 million to switch the name was like
they
could find in their couch cushions.
It's crazy.
That's how bad.
They get punished for not spending money.
Yes.
That's the problem with Fort Bragg.
They
Bragg
do. I mean, that's the
$250 on a pack of pins.
So
that you can get from the
here's
discount
the thing.
store for $1.
Waste, fraud, and abuse is rampant throughout the military.
But you know
as a
what?
whole.
With the name change for Fort Bragg, here's the thing. I don't know if y'all notice when you driving down the road and you see the sign say Fort Liberty. It's not permanent. They just put a piece of something over it to cover what was there. Just rip them off. And
they're waiting for you to get a ladder.
You're about to cut costs. Rip it off. It's Bragg all over again. There we go.
If they want to change it back to Fort Bragg, we'll take that as the tip to the entree of saving our children. So,
absolutely.
Everybody, thank you so much for being with us today. We had a lot of fun and
good stuff.
Good to see me again, Bishop. Good to see you.
good to see you too, Peter.
Good to see all of y'all.
All right. We will see you all later. Thanks for
Kirk out.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, my goodness.